The message arrived without warning. Across the quiet edges of known space, every listening post, relay station, and deep space array picked up the same signal at the exact same moment. It was not an attack. It was not a declaration of war. It was a plea. The Galactic Council had existed for over 3,000 cycles. In all that time, no united distress call had ever been sent. Civilizations rose and fell. Wars burned across star systems. Empires shattered, yet the Council never begged. They negotiated. They threatened. They sanctioned. But they never asked for help. Until now, the signal was raw and unfiltered. No political language. No pride. Just fear. Our fleets are gone. Our defenses have failed. If anyone hears this, we are running out of time. In the vast chamber of the Galactic Council, silence followed the transmission. Representatives from 100 species stare at one another, their expressions reflecting the same truth. The enemy they had underestimated had finally come. They were called the Varkal. The Varkal were not conquerors in the traditional sense. They did not rule worlds or enslave populations. They consumed. Entire systems vanished behind their advance. Stripped of resources, stars dimmed, planets cracked open and hollowed. No negotiation had ever succeeded. No weapon had ever stopped them for long. The Council had fought for decades. Their greatest fleets had been erased in weeks. Ancient superweapons failed. Defensive alliances collapsed. One by one, the strongest civilizations in the galaxy fell silent. Now only the core worlds remained, and even they were burning. The council speaker, a tall avian being with silver-lined feathers, lowered his head. His voice trembled as he spoke again. There is one species we have not yet asked. The chamber shifted uneasily. Humans. Humanity was young by galactic standards. Barely a few hundred cycles into faster-than-light travel. They were classified as a mid-tier power. Ambitious. Loud, emotionally unpredictable. Their fleets were small compared to the ancient empires. Their territory limited. Their technology impressive, but not revolutionary. Most importantly, humans had never joined the council. They observed. They traded. They helped in small border conflicts. But when the council demanded full submission to its laws, humanity declined. Politely, firmly. Some called them arrogant. Others called them reckless. A few called them dangerous. The speaker continued, "We dismiss them because they did not kneel. We assumed they would not come. But if we do nothing, there will be no galaxy left to govern." The vote was unanimous. The final message was prepared. It was shorter than the first. To the leaders of Earth, this is the Galactic Council. We are under extinction-level threat. Our fleets are destroyed. Our people are dying. We ask for your aid. The message was sent. Then they waited. Hours passed. Then days. The Varkal advanced closer. Systems fell faster now. Refugee streams clogged hyperspace lanes. Council worlds began evacuations they knew would never finish in time. Many believed humanity would ignore the call. After all, the Council had ignored them for generations. On Earth, the message reached a planet that did not sleep. Human leaders gathered within minutes. Military commands synchronized across continents. Civilian networks went silent as classified protocols activated. The message was replayed in a secure chamber beneath Earth's surface. No cheering followed. No panic either. Only quiet. An old human admiral finally spoke. So they finally asked. Another leader asked, "Do we help them?" The admiral did not answer immediately. He stared at a holographic projection of the Varkal advance. Entire sectors marked in red. The path pointed directly toward Earth's region of space. They were never going to stop, he said. Council, or not. A younger officer leaned forward. If we intervene, we reveal everything. The room understood what that meant. Humanity had secrets. Not forbidden weapons. Not doomsday devices. Something more unsettling. The admiral nodded slowly. Yes, if we answer, we do not send aid. We send truth. The decision was made. The reply was brief. Message received. Humanity acknowledges your request. Stand by. Across the galaxy, The council exhaled in relief. Some even celebrated. They did not notice the second signal humanity sent. It was not aimed outward. It was aimed inward, deep into classified human space, into shipyards that did not exist on public star maps, into fleets that had never been paraded, into doctrines written not for defense, but for extinction-level war. On dozens of hidden worlds, alarms sounded. Ancient human vessels stirred from silence. Commanders returned to posts they had trained for but never expected to use. Massive structures unfolded in orbit, revealing hulls the size of cities. Humanity had never ruled the galaxy. They had prepared to survive it. Back in the council chamber, sensors detected something new. At the edge of human space, hyperspace rippled. Not a ship, not a fleet, something far larger. The speaker whispered, his voice barely audible. What are they sending? And for the first time since the war began, fear shifted away from the Council's enemies, because whatever was coming from Earth did not feel like rescue. It felt like judgment. The signal from the alien Council did not fade. It repeated every 6 hours, growing weaker each time, like a heartbeat struggling to survive. Across Earth, deep inside command bunkers and orbital stations, humans listened in silence. The message was simple. The Valari Union was collapsing. Their worlds were burning. Their fleets were shattered, and they were asking humans for help. At first, no one spoke. Humanity had only recently stepped onto the galactic stage. Many species still whispered that humans were dangerous, unstable, and unpredictable. Some called them warborn. Others called them survivors. The Valari had once voted to restrict human expansion, fearing what they might become. Now those same voices begged for salvation. In the Terran Assembly Hall, leaders from every major nation appeared as holograms around a circular table of light. Above them floated the stars, slowly rotating, showing the regions where the Valari worlds were falling. Red markers blinked one by one, each marking a dead planet. The silence felt heavy, like gravity pressing down on every mind. Admiral Rhea Kale stood first. She was old by human standards, her face marked by years of command and loss. Her eyes stayed fixed on the stars. She spoke calmly, but her voice carried weight. She said the enemy destroying the Valari was not just another empire. It was a Car Dominion, a force known for erasing entire species. They did not conquer. They erased. If the Dominion finished with the Valari, humans would be next. Some leaders argued. They said humanity was not ready. They said sending fleets would expose Earth. They said the Valari had never been allies. A representative from the inner colonies asked why humans should bleed for those who once feared them. The room filled with tension as voices rose and hands struck the table. Then the recorded message played again. The Valari speaker's voice cracked near the end. He said they had no more ships, no more soldiers, only civilians hiding in underground cities. He said, "We know what you are capable of. That is why we ask." The words echoed in the hall long after the recording ended. A younger voice broke the debate. Commander Elias Vorn, a strategist known for studying ancient Earth wars, spoke with quiet clarity. He reminded the Assembly of Earth's own past. He spoke of times when humans had been alone, surrounded, and desperate. He said humanity survived because someone, somewhere, had chosen to stand instead of turning away. He did not ask for mercy. He asked for resolve. The decision was not made quickly. Hours passed. Simulations ran. Casualty estimates climbed into the millions. The cost would be enormous. Entire fleets might never return. Still, one truth became impossible to ignore. If humanity did nothing, the Dominion would grow stronger. If humanity acted, the galaxy would finally see who humans truly were. Deep beneath the assembly hall, in a chamber sealed from all networks, the final vote was cast. No cameras, no recordings, just human leaders facing the weight of history. When the result appeared, it was nearly unanimous. Humanity would answer the call, not quietly, not cautiously, but fully. Across Earth and its colonies, dormant shipyards came alive. Ancient orbital rings that had not moved in decades began to turn. Engineers who thought their work would never be used again were summoned without explanation. Old fleet names resurfaced, names spoken only in legends and classified archives. The Atlas Line, the Black Horizon, the Dawn Spear Armada. These were not patrol fleets. They were extinction-level forces, designed for wars humanity hoped would never come. Admiral Kale watched from her command deck as the first warship powered up. Its hull was dark, layered with adaptive armor that shimmered like liquid metal. Along its spine ran weapons banned by every known treaty. Humans had followed those treaties. They had never destroyed the designs. They had only waited. Orders spread through the fleets. No speeches, no celebrations, just preparation. Pilots wrote final messages. Soldiers checked gear in silence. Artificial intelligences calculated jump paths through hostile space, plotting routes that no other species would dare to take. The fleet was not built for defense. It was built to end wars. As the last vote was confirmed, a single message was transmitted back to the Valari Union. It was short. It carried no promises and no comfort. It simply said, "Hold on." Far across the stars, as Valari City shook under bombardment, sensors detected something impossible. Space itself seemed to bend. Energy signatures, unlike anything recorded, began to form at the edge of known space. Even the Card Dominion noticed. Their commanders paused their advance, watching the darkness with unease. Humanity had made its decision, and once humans chose a path, they never walked it halfway. No one in the Galactic Council chamber believed the reports at first. The screen showed empty space near the edge of human territory. No energy spikes, no warp signatures, no signs of a fleet. And yet, every human commander present stood in silence, eyes fixed forward, as if they could already see what others could not. The signal had been sent, far beyond the known trade routes, deep inside regions marked on star maps as inactive. Something ancient began to wake up. For centuries, humanity had been known as builders, traders, and quiet observers. They fought wars when needed, but they never showed their full strength. Other species believed humans were hiding because they were weak. They were wrong. Humans were hiding because their greatest weapons were not meant to be seen unless the situation demanded it. And now it did. In a hidden system orbiting a dying blue star, massive structures powered on for the first time in thousands of years. Docking rings the size of small moons lit up with golden lines. Ancient human symbols glowed across armored hulls that had never known defeat. These were not modern warships. These were relics, legends. The fleet humanity swore they would never use again. The first Ark awakened. Its hull was dark steel layered with unknown alloys, built before many alien civilizations had even discovered spaceflight. Inside, systems older than the Galactic Council itself began running silent checks. Artificial minds, designed to think alongside humans rather than above them, came online and waited for orders. Across the system, more ships followed. Dread carriers larger than alien capital cities released swarms of escort vessels. Battle cruisers with weapon cores powered by miniature stars aligned themselves into formation. These ships did not rush. They moved with calm certainty, as if they knew the universe would make way for them. Humanity had named this force long ago, the Fleet from Legends. Back in Council space, the alien delegates felt something change. Their senses began to pick up readings that made no sense. Gravitational distortions, energy levels that broke known limits. Entire navigation arrays started recalculating routes, then failed. "What is happening?" one delegate whispered. The human representative did not smile. "They're coming!" Without warning, space itself folded, not with violent explosions or chaotic warp tears, but with smooth, controlled transitions that looked almost gentle. One by one, human ships emerged from nothingness, as if reality had opened doors just for them. First came the scouts, sleek, blade-shaped vessels that spread out instantly, mapping everything. Then the main body appeared. Hundreds, then thousands. The alien fleets defending the besieged worlds suddenly looked small, fragile. Cameras across the galaxy caught the moment. A massive command ship took center position. its surface bore markings carved by hand, not machines. Along its spine were engraved the names of worlds humanity had lost and promised to protect again. This ship did not broadcast threats. It did not fire warning shots. It simply existed. The enemy armada that had been crushing the Allied systems froze. Their commanders hesitated. Their battle lines wavered. They had prepared to face desperate defenders, not a force pulled straight from myth. Humanity finally spoke. A single transmission echoed across all channels, translated automatically into every known language. This space is now under human protection. Withdraw. The enemy did not answer. They attacked. The first volley never reached its target. Human defense fields absorbed the fire like rain hitting stone. Then the fleet from Legends responded, not with chaos, but with precision. Light lands through space, cutting enemy ships apart with clean efficiency. Human fighters move like trained predators, disabling engines instead of destroying hulls when possible. They were not here to conquer. They were here to end the war. Alien defenders watched in disbelief as human ships coordinated flawlessly, protecting civilian evacuation routes while pushing the enemy back sector by sector. No panic, no wasted movement. Every action felt practiced, rehearsed long before this day. Within minutes, the tide of battle turned. Council analysts realized something terrifying. This was not humanity at full power. This was humanity acting with restraint. On one damaged alien command ship, an enemy officer stared at the tactical display and finally understood the mistake they had made. Humanity had not answered the call for help with desperation. They had answered it with history. As the last enemy formation began retreating, the human fleet held position. They did not chase. They did not boast. Their presence alone was enough. Across the Allied worlds, civilians watched the sky fill with unfamiliar stars and felt hope for the first time in years. The legends were real, and humanity had returned to the battlefield. Not for glory, not for revenge, but because someone had asked for help, and humans always answered. The fleet arrived at the edge of the burning system in perfect formation. Human ships moved out of folded space like silent giants, their hulls dark, their lights calm. The alien defenders watched in disbelief. What they had believed to be legends now filled their skies. The enemy armada was already there, a vast swarm of jagged vessels surrounding the last remaining alien worlds. They had come to finish the war. They did not expect what followed. From the lead human carrier, Admiral Reyes observed the battlefield. He did not speak at first. He studied the enemy's movements, their attack patterns, their formations. Humanity had learned long ago that rushing into battle was a mistake. Every second mattered. Every choice carried weight. When he finally gave the order, his voice was steady. The human fleet began to spread out, not in a charge, but in a wide arc, slowly enclosing the enemy. The enemy commanders noticed too late. They believed humans would protect the alien worlds directly. Instead, the human fleet cut off every escape route. Long-range cannons powered up across dozens of ships, their cores glowing softly before releasing focused beams of energy. The first shots were not loud. They were precise. Enemy command vessels vanished in controlled flashes of light, removed before they could react. Panic spread through the enemy armada. Their ships turned and scattered, firing wildly. Missiles and plasma bursts rushed toward the human fleet. Human shields flared to life, absorbing the attacks with layered defense systems refined over centuries of war. Not a single human ship broke formation. They advanced slowly, relentlessly, like a closing tide. Fighter squadrons launched next. Thousands of small human craft poured into space, moving with impossible coordination. Each pilot trusted the system, trusted the plan, trusted each other. They did not chase glory. They targeted engines, weapon cores, and communication arrays. Enemy ships began to drift powerless, still intact but unable to fight. Humanity was not here to destroy without reason. They were here to end the war. On the alien world below, civilians watched the sky change color as the battle intensified. Explosions reflected across the atmosphere like distant storms. Many believed they were witnessing the end of their species. Instead, hope slowly returned as the enemy fleet began to collapse. The enemy commanders regrouped and launched their final weapon. A massive dread platform emerged from behind Moon, charging a system-wide annihilation beam. If fired, it would wipe out both the human fleet and the alien planets. Admiral Reyes anticipated this moment. He had expected desperation. He ordered the reserve ships forward. From deep space, the oldest human vessels arrived. These were ships never shown to outsiders. Their designs were ancient, their hulls scarred by wars long forgotten. Legends called them relics. Humans called them guardians. They carried weapons built not for conquest, but for endings. The guardians fired together. Space itself seemed to bend as their combined energy struck the dread platform. The beam charging within it destabilized. For a brief moment, time felt frozen. Then the platform collapsed inward, tearing itself apart without a massive explosion. Humanity had learned how to neutralize threats without destroying entire systems. Silence followed. Not the peaceful kind, but the stunned silence of disbelief. The enemy fleet, leaderless and broken, attempted to surrender. Their weapons powered down. Their ships stopped firing. Admiral Reyes accepted the surrender without celebration. Victory was not something to cheer. It was something to carry responsibly. Human forces moved quickly to secure the area. Medical ships descended toward alien stations. Repair drones spread across damaged habitats. Humanity did not wait to be asked. Assistance followed victory as naturally as breath. Alien leaders gathered aboard a human flagship. They expected cold faces, stern judgment. Instead, they were met with calm professionalism. Humans did not boast. They did not demand territory or tribute. They explained the terms simply. The war would end. The enemy would never return. The alien worlds would rebuild under protection until they could stand alone again. One alien elder struggled to speak. Their voice shook as they asked why humanity had done this. Why risk so much for a species barely known? Admiral Reyes answered without hesitation. He said that long ago, humans had stood alone against the dark. No one came. They survived anyway. And because of that, they promised themselves that no one else would ever face extinction alone again. The story of the battle spread across the galaxy within days. Recordings of the human fleet, the precise strikes, the controlled mercy, became legend. Species that once dismissed humanity began to reconsider everything they thought they knew. Humans were not conquerors. They were not saviors either. They were something more dangerous and more hopeful. They were a people who remembered suffering and chose responsibility. For the aliens who had begged for help, the battle marked the end of fear and the beginning of a future. For the galaxy, it marked a turning point. From that day forward, when war threatened to erase entire worlds, one truth echoed through the stars. If humanity answered the call, history itself would change. For thousands of years, humanity had walked quietly among the stars. To most alien civilizations, humans were traders, explorers, and diplomats. They were polite, curious, and careful. No one saw them as conquerors. No one imagined they commanded fleets spoken of only in forbidden legends. And that was exactly how humanity wanted it. After the great battle, the surviving alien leaders asked the same question again and again. Why had humans hidden such power? Why pretend to be weak when they could have ruled entire sectors with ease? The answer was not simple, but it was deeply human. Long before humans met alien life, they had almost destroyed themselves. On their homeworld, wars had burned cities to ash. Powerful weapons had been created faster than wisdom could control them. Humanity learned the hard way that strength without restraint led only to ruin. Billions were lost before peace was finally earned. That lesson was carved into human history, like a scar that never faded. When humans reached the stars, they carried that lesson with them. They discovered they were not alone, and that the galaxy was fragile. Civilizations rose and fell quickly. Species wiped each other out over pride, fear, and the hunger to dominate. Humanity saw a reflection of its own past in those endless wars. They made a choice then, a choice no one else knew about. Human leaders agreed on a single rule. Power would be hidden. Strength would be used only as a last answer, never first. The fleets were built in secret, far from trade routes and alien space. Entire star systems were marked as silent zones, erased from maps. Only a few humans even knew the full truth. The reason was simple. If the galaxy knew how strong humanity really was, fear would follow. Fear would turn into alliances, and alliances into wars. Every empire would strike first, believing it was the only way to survive. Humanity did not want to rule over ruins. They wanted a living galaxy. Instead, humans became watchers. They observed conflict from a distance. They helped quietly, offering technology that saved lives, but did not tip the balance too far. They acted as mediators, healers, and builders. Many alien races saw humans as kind, but not dangerous. That image was carefully maintained. There was another reason humanity hid its power. Humans understood themselves. They knew that absolute power could corrupt even the best intentions. If their fleets became symbols of dominance, some humans would push to use them. History proved that ambition never truly died. By hiding their strength, humanity also protected itself. Within human society, strict laws controlled the legendary fleet. Every activation required agreement from multiple councils across different worlds. No single leader could command it alone. Even the admirals who trained their lives for battle hoped they would never be called. To them, the fleet was not a weapon of pride, but a burden of responsibility. The desperate alien call for help changed everything. For the first time, humanity faced a choice where silence meant extinction, not just for one species, but for many. The enemy consuming star systems did not negotiate. It did not fear diplomacy. It only destroyed. Humanity realized that hiding forever would be worse than revealing the truth. When the fleet emerged, the galaxy saw not just power, but control. The ships did not burn worlds or hunt survivors. They struck military targets with precise force. Civilian ships were protected. Evacuation corridors were opened. Even in war, humanity followed rules others had long forgotten. That shocked the galaxy more than the firepower itself. Species who believed strength meant cruelty saw something new, a power that could destroy them, yet chose restraint. The war did not end with final explosion or a loud cheer. It ended with silence. Across the broken star system, wreckage drifted slowly, glowing like dying embers. The enemy fleet was gone. What remained was proof that something impossible had happened. Humanity had revealed itself, and the galaxy would never forget it. The alien survivors watched from their damaged ships as the human fleet held position. The massive human vessels did not chase the fleeing enemy. They did not celebrate. They simply stayed still, like ancient guardians who had finished their duty. To the aliens, this calm was more terrifying than any weapon. It showed control, not rage, power, not pride. On the flagship Resolute Dawn, Admiral Reyes stood quietly, hands behind his back. He looked at the star map, where enemy signals had once filled the screen. Now there were none. Officers waited for orders, but he did not speak for a long moment. When he finally did, his voice was calm and steady. The mission was complete. The promise was fulfilled. A message was sent to every allied ship and every listening world. The message was short and simple. Humanity had answered the call. The threat was ended. The stars were safe for now. No threats. No demands. Only facts. The alien leaders struggled to understand what they had witnessed. They had believed legends were just stories, tales told to scare children or inspire weak hope. But now they had seen legends arrive in metal and fire. They realized the stories were warnings, not myths. In the days that followed, word spread faster than any ship could travel. Traders, scouts, and diplomats carried the news from system to system. The galaxy listened. Species that had never feared anything now spoke the word human with care. Not hatred, not worship, but deep respect. The rescued civilizations began to rebuild. Human engineers helped repair stations and planets damaged by war. Doctors treated alien wounded without question. No payment was asked. No territory was claimed. This confused many. In the past, help always came with a price. Humanity's help did not. One alien counselor finally asked a question that echoed across the galaxy. If humans were this powerful, why had they stayed hidden for so long? The answer came not from speech, but from history. Humanity had once nearly destroyed itself. They had learned what unchecked power could do. They chose restraint, not because they were weak, but because they were wise. Human fleets slowly withdrew from alien space. One by one, the legendary ships vanished into jump points, leaving behind only repaired worlds and changed minds. Before leaving, Admiral Reyes recorded a final message. It was not broadcast loudly. It was placed quietly into the galactic archives. He said that humanity did not seek to rule the stars. They sought balance. They would remain watchers, not kings. But if the innocent were threatened again, the legends would return. Back on Earth, people watched the stars with mixed emotions. Pride, fear, and hope blended together. They knew the galaxy had seen them now. There was no going back into shadows. But they also knew they had shown their best side. Strength guided by mercy. Children began to hear new stories at night. Not just human stories, but alien ones too. Stories where humans arrived when hope was gone. Stories where the sky burned, but salvation followed. These stories were told in many languages, on many worlds, always ending the same way. Legends are not born from power alone. They are born from choice. Humanity had chosen to protect, not dominate. To answer a desperate call, not ignore it. That choice changed history. Far beyond known space, ancient beings listened and took notice. They had watched civilizations rise and fall for millions of years. Very few earned their attention. Humanity had now done so, not because of their weapons, but because of their restraint. The galaxy moved forward into an uncertain future. New alliances formed, old fears faded, and somewhere in the endless dark, enemies reconsidered their plans, remembering the fleet that came from legends. Humanity returned to quiet watchfulness. The stars looked the same, but everything had changed. The legend was no longer a warning whispered in fear. It was a truth written into history. And across the universe, whenever hope seemed lost, beings remembered one simple fact. When the galaxy cried out in desperation, humanity answered.